Hey, Lucas here, today presenting you this little cage for the Panasonic G7. This is a fairly simple cage with some nifty features, as ever so often. So basically we have 4 walls, one left, right, underneath and on the top. And we have a handle. Personally, the handle is for me the most important part of a cage because I usually like to grab the camera on top and be able to pull it around. And this is really the most important part for me from this cage. Yet this cage also brings everything it needs. So we have these normal 1/4 inch threads on the bottom so we can attach our tripod plate. Of course, we can open up the door for the battery and also for the SD card in this case, because the G7 has the SD card underneath. And obviously we can also get our display out, shift it around as we want. So the room is there, and so basically everything we usually want works. Of course, we can also get our mic port free, and we have the HDMI port on the right side is also accessible. So basically, it's not in our way while we work with it. The cage is shipping with this little hand part here, so you can get your hand through this and hold your camera a bit more ergonomically, like you might know it from the old past days when we had normal camcorders. These were pretty common. I'm honest with you, I'm not too happy with this, because it's not because the part is bad, because it's built solid and there's surely a way to fit it in here which works well. I'm just not a big fan of these straps. So it's included, but I don't find it too useful. Many people buy cages especially for the protection for the HDMI port or to attach an external monitor. The thing is, this cage doesn't have any protection for our HDMI cable that we might get here on here. The thing with this is, I'm not too concerned with this because the G7 has very limited functionality in monitoring. For example, if you hook up an HDMI monitor and you record, you press the record button on your camera, you cannot see the HDMI image anymore. So this is not a big use. If you now have an external recorder that you want to use and not record internally, this is of course a bad thing, that there is no protection for the cable. However, you have the 1/4 inch threads all around the cage. So when you just have something like this is just a 1/4 inch thumb screw. You could get it in here and get the cable around it, lock it, and then you are fairly protected as well. But this is really not the most common scenario, as this camera is very limited in the monitoring functionality. On top of the cage we have a cold shoe to attach microphones or a light or an external monitor if you like. And as you can see, there's a big screw in here, and this is because this is not really soldered to the cage. It's not. It's just screwed on. So you could also get it on the right side of the cage, on the left side, or on the left side of the top of the cage. You can place it wherever you want, where it pleases you most. So I attached it on the right side here, because then when I attach a microphone I can still get on the handle and have a little room. Also on the handle on top we have a second cold shoe adapter, so we can get something on top as well. So basically we end up with 2 of these. So far now this is really basic, as you might see. So the real star of this cage is actually the grip on top, so the handle. Basically, because it's not only a handle, it also has batteries in there. This is a fully functional battery grip. With 2 of these batteries you can get the battery grip running. These batteries are really cheap. They are around 5 or 6 euros for one of them. So I think I paid around 12 euros or so on Amazon Germany, and they have a really high capacity. These are actually also batteries from Panasonic, which is pretty nice, and they can power the camera much, and really mean much longer than the stock battery from Panasonic that ships with the G7. And they look a bit like AA batteries, but a bit bigger, and you do want to get them without the little nut on top, so they just have to be flat like this, so they fit perfectly into the handle. So basically you just put them here into the handle, screw it tight, and really you can get for the price of one normal battery from Panasonic. Even the aftermarket ones, you can like get a couple of these and put it up. Anyway, there's the green button on the back, on the rear of this handle. You push it and then you can see the light coming. So the light up here is also an indication how much charge you have on the batteries. In this case, it is just green. At some point it will flash green, then at some point it will flash green and red, and then at some point it will only be red, then only flash red, and at some point also these batteries may die. But you don't have to rely on the LED light on top of the handle, because this would be really inconvenient, because we all know how inaccurate usually these kind of LED things are, especially if there's only one little light. So, but you don't have to, because if you use the included coupler, so there's coupler which goes over a cable into the grip, the chips together with the cage, and with this coupler you have all the information from the batteries transmitted to your display, just like the normal batteries would. So in this case I have 3 from 3 of the little indications that these batteries are fully charged. So when these batteries drain, of course, they would like transmit it one by one to the display. So this is a very accurate representation. So you don't just like these batteries go off if you don't plan them to. These are really high quality capacity batteries. If you buy the good ones from Sanyo or from Panasonic, of course you have to get them. But if you get the good ones, like the good batteries, the good cells in the end, like from Japan, then you have a really long battery life just within your handle. So I was really interested on how long this battery life can be for this camera using these batteries instead of the original Panasonic battery. Now this is the stock Panasonic battery that chips with the camera, which is fairly expensive if you buy a second and a third one. Of course, there are always aftermarket batteries which are a lot cheaper than this one, but still a lot more expensive than this one. And usually they don't reach or only can match the original battery. I don't think that there are better batteries than the original batteries on the market. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course, because I did not like research all batteries that are out there. So, however, this battery has a capacity of 1,200 milliampere hours. While with these batteries you have a capacity of 3,400 milliampere hours. Of course, there are also smaller ones, so you can get much cheaper batteries from these if you only get like 2,700 milliampere hours, or also only 1,200 milliampere hours, but this doesn't make much sense after all. So basically get the best ones, the largest ones from Panasonic or Sanyo. Now we are truly interested how long they last. To test these batteries, I just recorded permanently with the G7, one 4K clip after another, only 4K, only the whole time. Like when the recording stopped because of the time limit, then I just press it again until the batteries was drained. I did this 3 times for each of these batteries to get a number and have an average of the time. The original battery got me a battery life of around 2 hours and 20 minutes, which isn't too bad, of course. I mean, you can easily film a concert with this length, and you can easily get an audition or something where you really need the long battery life, where you cannot change the battery during the shoot. Still, it's only 2.5 hours after all. So with a pack of these batteries, I was able to film 5 hours and 20 minutes, which is basically, after all, 3 hours longer and more than the double in total than the original Panasonic battery. So from a standpoint of battery life and shooting length, you can get with these through a whole shooting day. Well, you definitely have to change these. It may not be inconvenient for you to change batteries while you're shooting. Still, you have a lot longer battery life. So 2 sets of these will get you through a whole day, while you need maybe 3 or 4 of these batteries, and then they're of course much more expensive. Financially, of course, the downside is that you have to have this cage with the battery grip handle to use these batteries, but still you have the added bonus of the cage, of course, which makes it a bit more grippy, and the great top handle. As I mentioned before, the coupler that I have here is included into this package. Now let's face the downside that I have here, because I think this cable is way too long. I really think it's way too long. It just like needs to be much shorter. This is why I just like got it around here and twisted it around the grip, so it is not in my way. It's not really completely bad, but still it's not really convenient to have this really long cable. So I hope they make a shorter one, because this is not really convenient. Still, it works. The coupler has the great features of like transmitting you the battery life onto your display. Still, this coupler could be a bit improved. And there's another thing I dislike about the handle in general, and this is the position. So this is the way that the manufacturer wants us to use this. The handle is in the rear of the camera. However, if I attach a big lens, a heavy lens, and I grab the handle like this, I will always get that the lens will pull down the camera. So it makes not much sense to me, and technologically wise, to have it in the rear. Of course, this is pretty cool because we can just twist it around. So basically, I just remove this blue thumb screw here. I get it around and I screw it tight again. So then we have the grip over the lens. And even if it's a heavy lens, you have a much better ergonomic weight point. And it's much more convenient for me to use it like this. Problem with this is that we cannot use the cold shoe anymore, at least not properly, because our hand may be in the way. But ergonomically, we have a much better way in handling this rig. So basically, this would be the way I would use this cage. So I think this is everything there is to say about this cage. I actually think I already talked too much. For me, the G7 is more of a B camera, so the added grip is really convenient for me. Also, of course, the possibility to add the batteries into the battery grip and have a much longer battery life. And so for any G7 kit, be it a B camera like it is for me, or an A camera, because it's also a great A camera. I just missed some features on the G7. However, for any G7 kit, this is really a convenient upgrade, also because the price is right. And yeah, there's a lot less to stress about, especially with the battery life. So hook up like in 128 gigabyte or 64 gigabyte SD card into this, and you have like a long-lasting B, A, or even making off camera for your set or for concerts, blah blah blah, stuff like that. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope to see you soon again. And yeah, bye bye.